Okay, so real quick, one of the other concepts I want to get to here. Sometimes you've got to read, and it's just not convenient to be reading with your hand, finger, or pen. So for example, those of you joining us online, where we didn't have this in Accelerator and the words were not blinking on the screen, maybe you're just reading right off the screen. One of the things you can do is go a little faster using what we call fixation points. So what I mean by that, and you can flip to the next article if you want, which I think is, what do we have? Next passage. You guys have Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, here's what I mean by fixation points. Breaking up the line into chunks, okay? This makes it easier sometimes for the brain to process information. In our memory workshop, we talked a little bit about it, where think about how you learn to spell the word Wednesday. Wednesday, right? Or when we chunk information into parts, it becomes easier sometimes for our mind to process it. So what I want you to do is kind of like artificially divide the line into maybe like 4 parts, like first quarter, second quarter, third, fourth. By the way, if we had more narrow lines, it would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or if it was very narrow, think of like newspaper, like physical newspapers, where the columns are very, very narrow. That might just be like 1, 2, 1, 2. Or I've seen some, like the Wall Street Journal, when they print it out, it's like 3 words max per line, especially if the words are large words. So in this, I would probably recommend, a lot of people can probably go with 4, maybe 3 fixations per line on this one. But basically, we're trying to get like 3 or 4 words in each chunk. So just hover your eyes somewhere here, somewhere here. Those of you that have it on the page, you can still use your hand as a guide, but you're just kind of like making little stops along the way. Some of you will prefer this kind of a hand motion. Other people will prefer a smoother hand motion. But I want you to know, if you're in front of a screen and you don't want to, let's say, a good example is your phone. So copy and paste text into Accelerator. That means you got to highlight all the text, and then you got to go to another tab, and then you got to paste it in. And we are working on like a Chrome like plugin or a Firefox add-on that would do that more rapidly. But it's still an extra step. So if you're just reading from like your phone and you don't want to do those extra steps, bouncing around with your eyes, on a phone it's a more narrow screen. So you might be going like 1, 2, 1, 2. Or if it's wider lines, 1, 2, 3. Or in this case it might be 4 because the margins are very, very wide. So I mean here we have like, in the first line we have 20, actually it's not 23 words in the first line. I think that's counting also the title. But just make 3 or 4 fixations per line. If you're not sure what works best, maybe start off with 3 and then try maybe 4, see what you're more comfortable with. But I'm going to give you a minute of reading to basically be chunking the text into 3 or 4 parts as you go along. So 1 minute, go at whatever speed feels comfortable. Go ahead and begin. Stop, okay. So flip to the next passage. Let's do this again. Again, just reading. We're not doing a speed drill. I just want you to get used to this chunking. So 3 or 4 fixations per line. So you're putting your eyes somewhere here, somewhere here. You might be like beginning, middle, end. Beginning, middle, end. Beginning, middle, end. Or it might be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do another minute of reading. We've got now, I believe, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. 1 minute of reading. Ready? Go ahead and begin. All right, let me stop you guys there. Now, you may have felt more comfortable with 3 or 4. Some people prefer to just use their hand as a guide and just go smoothly.